You are listening to the Music Mondays with Mazement podcast. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. For more information, go to musicmondayspodcast.com. Back to another episode of the Music Mondays with Mazement podcast. I am your host,
Mazement.
and we have some big news in this episode, as well as some other exciting things. Before we get to any of that, here's a fact.
Music Mondays, music facts.
Bruce Springsteen's first hit on the top 40 charts was Born to Run, released in October 1975.
Music Mondays, music facts.
Iggy Azalea sold the rights to her catalog, the master rights, to Domain Capital. 8-figure deal. It's interesting because it's kind of showing that the industry, as everybody knows, as an artist, it's hard to make money in the music industry. Well, this is one way you could do it. She's still collecting off of this catalog somewhat in the deal. I think she got still a royalty percentage, but the majority of the rights are owned by Domain Capital. It's interesting with today's industry that this is happening, though. She's not the first one to do this, and it kind of solidifies, future revenue. Pretty big deal. Makes sense to why it's happening, why certain artists are doing it, based on the payouts that they're getting for it. But it's also interesting to see what the long-term value is of these catalogs that are getting bought out. I don't know if Iggy's would have competed with some of the other ones that were out there already that sold, but we'll see. Either way, pretty big news. I think we're going to see more of this happening in this industry today. Fame and Flashdance singer and actress Irene Cara has passed away at the age of 63. During her career, she had 3 top 10 hits on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. Friends and family have described her as an exhilarating person in their lives. Cause of death is currently unknown. She will be missed. Rapper Nas finally tied Jay-Z for the most top 10 albums on the Billboard 200 charts among rappers. King Disease 3 is what did it for him. Go check it out. So exciting. If you listen to the past episodes, I just got to see Nas a few months ago. It was amazing. Life-changing. Either way, exciting news. Exciting to see him still at it and that hip-hop is still kicking. As stated in the beginning of this episode, I said there was big news in this episode, so we were going to get to that. Before we get to that, we are going into the holiday season here, and I thought it would be a great idea to have some of our friends from this podcast that have been on the Artist on Call this past year come on and share their favorite holiday song. Here's our special guest for this episode. We have Solus, who was from Michigan, came on Artist on Call this year. Allie Burke as well. Brewster Moonface. We have Julie coming on to say her favorite. And the most recent, Halfon, who came back for the Artist on Call remix segment. Let's hear what their favorite holiday songs are. And then let me know at Music Mondays Podcast if you agree with which one you agree with.
Hello, this is Julie from Brewster Moonface.
Happy holidays, everybody from Michigan. This is Solus.
Hey, what's up? It's Allie Burke.
Hey guys, it's Halfon.
I love the Christmas season, so it's a little hard for me to pick my favorite song, but...
And my favorite song for the holidays...
And my favorite holiday song is...
My favorite holiday song is probably Sleigh Ride by Ella Fitzgerald.
I'm gonna go with Carol of the Bells.
Is Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen.
It's probably Santa Tell Me by Ariana Grande. Not one of the original ones, I know.
So, listen to it, enjoy it.
I just think it's so beautiful.
Because it's a classic.
And I hope all of you have a wonderful holiday season.
Stay warm, wherever you may be. I know it's cold here. You can tell by my 3 layers of jackets. Happy holidays!
I actually do have a brand new holiday song of my own that I just released called My Christmas Wish, and it would mean the absolute world to me if you can go and check it out. Make sure to give us a listen and let me know what you think.
Thank you to Solus, Julie, Halfon, and Allie Burke for coming on and doing that. I appreciate it. Out of all of them, it's tough to say. For Christmas, whenever I hear one of those songs, it's classic for me. It is tough to say out of those 4 which one's my favorite. They're all great. Another great thing, as you heard, Allie Burke has just released her own Christmas song. It's called My Christmas Wish. Go check it out on all major digital streaming platforms. And most importantly, tell her what you think of it. And the moment you've been waiting for. This podcast episode is the 5-year anniversary episode. That's right. It's been 5 years since this podcast started. There's been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of consistency, I guess you could say, as much as I've wanted to veer off and do other things. I always tried to keep it as consistent as possible. And there are so many exciting things in store for the future. Like I said, there was going to be some big changes going into the new year with this podcast. Well, this is where you find out what those changes are. First and foremost, this podcast will be taking a break until my goal is to come back in summer 2023. So if not, there'll be some form of a return, whether it's a different podcast, something, but the Music Mondays podcast will live on. This isn't the last episode ever. This is just for the time being. Don't stress about that. If you've been a consistent listener or supporter every month, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please follow me on all the socials so you could keep track on what I'm doing. But the biggest, most important thing is that we are taking a break. And my goal is to come back by summer 2023. So be patient. Let me know what you think. You know, if you have ideas of what you want to see come back on the podcast, because it's getting a whole new restructure, hopefully, new music, everything, new layout. So give me ideas what you want to see on the podcast. I appreciate it. We have some exciting things planned out for it, so it's definitely going to happen. I'm too stubborn to not let it happen. You know, it's definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of when can we get it all together. As you could tell from when I started this whole podcast, I was just kind of sitting in a chair, hiding my face. I was like so nervous. You know, through this time, I've grown. You know, I've gotten a lot more. Like, my anxiety is way down. And now, you know, running the independent record label, that's taking up the majority of my time. So while doing that, now I can plan out the whole new restructure for the podcast and give myself time to do so and implement it with such a busy schedule. So thank you so much for your patience and everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in every month. I appreciate it. The artist on calls, like, this is such a big part of my life for the past 5 years, or has been such a big part of my life for the past 5 years. So it's going to be hard for me to adapt to not be posting a monthly podcast. You might even see something come out like an artist on call podcast. I don't know, like, because it's just like, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to not do this podcast for. Like, this has been a part of me, and it's been really special to me, as well as I hope it has for you as well listening. But follow Music Mondays podcast wherever you can. The website's going to stay up, musicmondayspodcast.com. Follow it on all the socials. I'm still going to constantly post, you know, old clips and stuff like that throughout the time, so that way it feels like it's not gone. You know, it'll just kind of give you some reminiscent clips and stuff like that, so you can connect. But yeah, definitely don't give up on this podcast, because I'm definitely not. I'm just, you know, I want to revamp it, make it more exciting, and give you guys the content you deserve for all the time you put in listening to this and watching all the videos I post. So that being said, that's pretty much a wrap for this episode, and I appreciate you tuning in. It's been 5 years, steady and strong. Thank you so much. Follow me everywhere. A lot of things are going to be happening throughout this next, you know, several months. So stay tuned on everything I got going on. Follow the Dilemma Band, Corey Riemann and the Dilemma Band everywhere you can. Follow Rise Up Entertainment wherever you can, and follow me wherever you can to stay tuned on everything. Thanks again. Until next episode.